Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so today I am going to discuss this topic. Gita is Gita. Point is the uniqueness of Bhagavad Gita. So we all know Bhagavad Gita is unique because no matter how much intelligent, no matter they are philosophers, they are scientists, everybody has great esteem for Bhagavad Gita. But why? Question is why? So many saints have come by, so many philosophers, Western, Eastern both, so many scientists, and they still praise Bhagavad Gita for its philosophical depth and also for its metaphysical insight. Bhagavad Gita is unique. It is the essence of all Upanishads. But what is so unique in Bhagavad Gita? This we are going to discuss. How Gita is all comprehensive and unique. Why, if you go to India, if you come to India, if you ask any saint, he will first quote Bhagavad Gita. And if you quote Bhagavad Gita, he is going to accept your conclusion, if it is supported by Bhagavad Gita. And every Vedanti means who are reading Vedas, or speaking, who are doing research in subject of Vedas, and Vedanta Sutra, any saint, any jnani, any philosopher, Bhagavad Gita is Bhagavad Gita for them. You can't contradict Bhagavad Gita. For a Christian, if you quote Bible, that's it. For a Muslim, if you quote Quran, that's it. For a Hindu, if you quote Gita, that's it. No logic required then. This is final verdict. So why? Why it's like that? What is so unique in Bhagavad Gita? There are some. I've listed some 6 to 7 points. How Gita is so unique. The first point is Gita is a manual for bodily, mental, and spiritual well-being. Manual means it is. If you take Vedas are very. Rig Veda is having minimum 1 crore mantras. They are very large. Mahabharata is having 1 lakh, minimum 1 lakh verses. So what do? Bhagavad Gita is a concise manual. If you read all scriptures, and if you don't read Bhagavad Gita, it is said that you will miss the point. And if you read Bhagavad Gita, and if you don't have time to read all other scriptures, you got the point. Simple. Through Bhagavad Gita, we can understand all scriptures. But by reading all the scriptures, we may not be able to understand Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is an eye, through which it's a lens through which we can interpret and understand all the scriptures. This is the second point why Bhagavad Gita is so unique. So Gita redefines the Vedic terms. It helps us redefining the Vedic terms. When you read Vedas, sometimes it becomes very complex because Vedas, there are many meanings to one Sanskrit word. There's a dictionary of Sanskrit which is called as Nirukta. And if you open that dictionary, one word will be having 30 meanings. For example, if you take the word Hari, it has 108 meanings. What do you do with that? If you take the word water in English, and if you go to Sanskrit dictionary, open Sanskrit dictionary, it will have 100 synonyms. So what do? So there are so many meanings to this, to Sanskrit words in Vedas. So what Gita does, Gita helps us to pin down the meaning of those words. In what context this word would mean, what meaning should we take for this word, in what context. This is what Gita is doing. For example, for example, I'll tell you. For example, if you take this word, yoga. Now, so if this word yoga is coming in the scriptures known as yoga Yoga Upanishad, suppose. If you find this word in the book of yogis, meaning will be a little different. If you find this word yoga in scriptures dealing with devotion, you have to interpret the meaning of this word yoga differently. For example, according to Patanjali is a book for yogis. So if you find the word yoga, meaning of yoga in that book, in that context, is that, I am quoting Patanjali, yoga is concentrating the mind by restraining the desires of the mind. So you have to take the meaning of the word like this in the book of yoga, in Patanjali Yoga. But when you come to Bhagavad Gita, it's a devotional text, at least according to bona fide disciplic successions. So there, yoga, the word yoga means being attached to God. In that context, you have to define it, you have to take different meaning. For example, I am quoting Bhagavad Gita 7th verse, 1st chapter, where Krishna says, "Now hear, O son of Partha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt." So yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me. So this is what we have to understand. Gita redefines the meaning of these words, Vedic words. It helps us to identify what meaning should we take in what context. Suppose the word liberation. Now when you read this word liberation in Vedas, in the first section of Vedas, their liberation means liberation from sins. Now if this word liberation comes in the last section of Vedas, which are generally known as Upanishads, their liberation would mean liberation, freedom from cycle of birth and death. And if the same word liberation comes in Puranas and Mahabharata, their liberation, and Srimad Bhagavatam, their liberation means attaining love of God. So it makes a difference now. We have to understand what word would mean in what context. And then we can understand the meaning of Vedas. Otherwise it will all become hodgepodge. It will become contradictory. So Gita helps us to redefine the Vedic terms. This is the second uniqueness of Gita. And the first one I told, it provides a manual for bodily, mental and spiritual well-being. Because Gita is concise. 700 verses, 18 chapters. In comparison to Vedas, 1 crore verses minimum, or Mahabharata 1 lakh verses. It's such a concise book, and it's a manual. Manual is supposed to be concise, isn't it? And if you read Bhagavad Gita, there are rules for maintaining good health. There are rules for maintaining mental peace. There are rules for helping our soul to elevate and purify. For the enlightenment of soul, there are rules. There are rules for all these three: bodily, mental and spiritual well-being. Simple. No other scripture is offering all the rules. They are not so comprehensive. Bible, Quran and other scriptural texts are there. But if you read Gita, Gita is all comprehensive and unique. Because if you are simply talking about soul and we don't know rules how for body and mind, it's impossible to pursue our devotional career, no spirituality. Because because it is said, a healthy body has sound mind, and only by sound mind we can pursue spirituality, isn't it? So this is two uniqueness in Bhagavad Gita. The third uniqueness is Gita harmonizes different parts of yoga. So there are three well-known yogas in Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Simple. So if you ask any scholar of Bhagavad Gita, university scholar, they will say, well, Bhagavad Gita talks about three kinds of yoga: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Or if you come to India, you go to Rishikesh, you go to Himalayas, you meet a Swami and you ask, okay, what is yoga in Bhagavad Gita? He says, fine, you can choose. Bhagavad Gita offers three yogas: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. You can choose either one of them, or there is one more system In morning you do Bhakti Yoga, in afternoon you do Jnana Yoga, and in the night you do Karma Yoga. That's also there. So, like this. It's confusion. But actually, they are not correct. None is right. What Gita does is, Gita harmonizes three paths: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. There's a harmony. They are not three separate paths. These three paths are one path, but they are successively ascending stages of deeper realizations. That's how we have to look at these yogas. So first is Karma Yoga. When Karma Yoga matures, it matures into Jnana Yoga. When Jnana Yoga matures, it matures into Bhakti Yoga. So you can visualize these yogas as a ladder, and not three different paths. So the first step is Karma Yoga, second highest step is Jnana Yoga, third is Bhakti Yoga. This is how Bhagavad Gita harmonizes three different paths of yoga. Because if you read Vedas, you will feel that these three paths are disconnected. They are not connected. The first portion of Vedas, which is called as Brahmanas and Samhitas, they are talking about Karma Yoga, largely. If you come to Upanishads, the last part of Vedas, they are talking about Jnana Yoga. And if you come to Puranas, they are talking about Bhakti Yoga. So people have come to this conclusion, well, there are three types of yogas in Vedas. You can choose any one of them. And people who are practicing Karma Yoga, they are fighting with people who are practicing Jnana Yoga. People who are practicing Bhakti Yoga, they are smashing heads of people who are doing Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, and fight goes on. Clashes, interfaith clashes. So Karmakandis, Jnanis, Bhaktas, all of them are fighting. Our opinion is this according to Vedas. Our opinion. If you come to India, you'll find actually literally there are wars. There are wars. Let me say this. If you go to Kumbh Mela is one of the Hindu festivals. The largest ever known festival all around the world. Lakhs of people gather in India, in Prayag and the bank of Ganges. And if you go, there are so many people from so many different sects, so many different ideas, and practically every year there is people trample each other. There are fights, literal fights. They kill each other, and there's so many things. It's supposed to be a holy festival, but there are colors of blood. Sometimes it happens. Why? Because people have not read Gita. People have not read Gita according to bona fide disciplic successions. They think there are three different paths, but it is not three different paths. If Gita was spoken on the battlefield, not to create battle, but to bring peace, and that is why it was spoken on battlefield. Battlefield symbolizes the various misconceptions in this world, due to which people are fighting with each other. And Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to harmonize all of them, not to create dissensions or fight. So this is third uniqueness of Bhagavad Gita. And another uniqueness of Bhagavad Gita is Gita establishes monotheistic religion. If you come to Hinduism, there are many gods. The first thing, if you ask any scholar, he will say, what's the difference between Hinduism and Christianity? Christianity is monotheistic, it believes in one God, or Islam, and Hinduism believes in so many gods, 33 crore gods or whatever, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, something like that. It's polytheistic. It's called polytheism. But Gita establishes monotheism. Hinduism is not polytheistic. It's a misconception. If you read Gita, it promotes monotheistic religion. Vedas are offering worship of one God. That's it. Simple. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam. This is what is said by Rig Vedas. Let Vishnu be worshipped. There is just one God. So Gita clarifies that concept. And time and again in Bhagavad Gita you will find Krishna is saying, let me quote 7th chapter, 7th verse. Krishna is saying, O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Simple. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. Such a nice thing, huh? It's clear. Again, Gita says, anybody who understands I am supreme, he will attain peace and happiness in life. So it's clear. Gita establishes only one God, Krishna, and all other supposed to be gods according to scholars. They're not gods. They are, you can call them as angels, or you can call them as demigods, whatever you may like. But they are not God. Simple. They are under control of God. And God is Krishna. This is at least according to Gita. And then Gita not only describes God, but it also describes about God. Who is God? That's one thing. According to Gita, Krishna. But who is He? About God. His form, His qualities. For example, if you read Bhagavad Gita in 10th chapter, in 11th chapter, there's so many qualities of Krishna, so many qualities of God. So, and not only Gita reveals power and opulences of God, but Gita also reveals beauty and sweetness of God. This is the beauty of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is complete. So generally, if you go to other religion, only power of God is revealed. More. God is all powerful. He can do anything. You should have faith in God. That's okay. But what about His sweetness? What about His beauty? God is supposed to be beautiful, isn't it? He is not just light. So Gita reveals all the qualities of God. His unlimited sweetness, His auspicious qualities, His power, His opulences. In other words, Gita informs us with all the information about God necessary to develop love for Him. This is the uniqueness of Bhagavad Gita. And at the same time, it condemns and rejects wrong religions and wrong philosophies. This is another uniqueness of Bhagavad Gita. It not only informs us about what is right, but also informs us about what is wrong. This is important. Wrong religions and wrong philosophies. There are cheating religions. People have concocted themselves, and they're wrong philosophies. For example, 16th chapter, Gita says that there are many demoniac philosophies. Asatyam apratishtamte jagadavaranishwaram. People who say that this word is unreal, it's illusion. There are many people in India, you will find Swamis, they will say, this word is Maya. Brahm Satya Jagat Mithya. It's wrong philosophy. And Gita condemns it. Simple. So, both things, darkness and light. Gita helps us to appreciate light, truth, and helps us to dispel darkness or misconceptions. And then, with this, Gita is not just talking theory. It's also telling us how to practically apply this theory. How Gita trains the reader how to work without attachment, how to become wise without false ego, and how to surrender without any reservations. This is Gita. All three in one book. How to work without attachment, how to be wise without false ego, and how to surrender without any reservations. Without any reservation means without any attachments or without any other help of any other process. So this is what is Gita. This is the uniqueness of Gita. It's talking about theory, it's talking about practice, it's talking about harmonization, it's talking about rules of body, mind and soul. It's talking about how to understand Vedic scriptures in various contexts at different levels. It's talking about. It's also talking about how religion is monotheistic. It's not polytheistic. is talking about God, who is God, His power, His opulence, His sweetness, everything what we need to develop love for Him. So Gita is complete. It is said in scriptures, Vedas are just like a cow, and Gita is like milk of that cow, nectarian milk of that cow, essence of all the scriptures. So it is also said that what you will find in all scriptures, you might not find in Bhagavad Gita. But what you find in Bhagavad Gita, you will find in all scriptures, and even more than that. This is Bhagavad Gita. That's unique about Bhagavad Gita. Gita is Gita. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Anything?
You told that Bhagavad Gita claims monotheistic.
Yeah.
Then you could take something about Vishnu. If Vishnu is the supreme, then how he can be cursed? How he can be cursed? He was cursed that nobody will worship him here, no? In this world.
No, Brahma was cursed.
Brahma was?
Yeah, not Vishnu. Vishnu and Krishna are one, that we know. There's two names or one personality. It doesn't matter. Like that. Okay, if that's clear, so please read Gita. That's all. This is the message of this lecture. Don't waste your time. Read Gita. At least once we should go through Gita, no? Otherwise we are going to miss deep wisdom. Actually, really deep wisdom. I've read Gita so many times. I've read Gita some 3,000 times. Still I'm reading Gita. And still it's new. So, the more you read Gita, the more you will understand that you are ignorant. This is the beauty of Bhagavad Gita. The more you will realize that there is much more to know. This is the depth of Bhagavad Gita. So read Gita, and slowly and steadily, gradually, we will understand what is so unique in Bhagavad Gita. Why so many people are praising Gita. Why a poet, a theosophist, a philosopher, a scientist, a politician, so many people from all backgrounds, they are having reverence and esteem for Bhagavad Gita. We might know this, but we never questioned why. Everybody knows Gita is important. If you ask anybody, Bhagavad Gita, everybody knows. Yeah. If you ask any foreigner, do you know Gita? Yes, I know Bhagavad Gita. I know. That's okay. But the point is, then you should ask another question. Why it's so famous? Let me check it out. And this lecture will help you to get an insight why it's so unique, and probably you are all inspired to at least read Bhagavad Gita. Get a copy of Bhagavad Gita and give a reading to it. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It's good to get a copy of Bhagavad Gita as it is. If you go on Amazon, I think it's available on Amazon.
Yeah.
It's available. Just type Bhagavad Gita as it is. Order it. Get a copy of Bhagavad Gita. Or go to any ISKCON center. You'll find a copy. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.